Hi guys, I'm Sid.
And I'm Veera.
Welcome to another episode of The Balanced Path. Today we have with us the man, the myth, the legend, Jashan. And check this video out. First of all, thank you for coming here, Jashan. It has
Thank
been
you
a
for
pleasure.
coming.
I mean, we have been trying to track you down since a while now.
Right.
The fact that you live in Jalandhar and do all these cool things and still are like oblivious, we are oblivious of the fact that you exist. I mean, we have actually been trying to catch hold of you since a very long time. So if you're here, means we've done well. So thank you for coming here, Jashan.
Thank you for
So how have you
coming.
been?
Pretty good. First of all, it's a pleasure. I'm saying that randomly I have these two people following me on Instagram one day, and I'm looking okay, nice, very good Indian skiers, having a lot of fun, and nice sets of humor. Few I'm like couple of days later, I see some more good content, and I'm like, okay, I need to like know who these people are. So then I do some digging in. I'm like, oh wow, Zoka, Inkalab, and now the balance path. So yeah, it's pretty good to find that people from Jalandhar are doing good stuff.
And likewise, I mean, that's how we found Jashan, right? So we were at a ski trip in Gulmarg. And if you guys haven't tried skiing, please do. And do it in Gulmarg. Start there. It's amazing. So we found...
With Snow Kings.
with Snow Kings. Shafat bhai. Plug-in. Shameless plug-in. Guys, so we had a friend, a snowboarder. So snowboarders and skiers are not really friends. They have to sit together because
They have no choice.
You
कोई
use the same
slope
slopes.
है ना
Yeah.
मतलब वही ये आता होता ना होटली वक्रे वक्रे होंगे that
Yeah.
would have been much better whatever. So this this
Snowboarder.
boarder was sitting with us and we were like, hey boarder. So we started talking about like where he was from, what he was doing, and we're like, we're from Jalandhar. He's like, oh, I have a friend, Jashan from Jalandhar, you must know him. And he was like, no, I mean, I'm probably by face, but not like, not I don't
Personally, yeah.
recall. And then he showed a couple of your paramotoring videos. And I see this guy taking off in the middle of the khet and then going ऊपर नीचे कभी कदे नहर दे उत्ते ते कदे चले दे उत्ते ते मैं क्या यार so what happens is usually people from down south and even Delhi, for them Jalandhar, लुधियाना, अमृतसर एंड चंडीगढ़ आर द सेम. उनको लगता है कि अच्छा आप जलंधर से हो, उनके दिमाग में कि वहाँ उस पॉकेट में से हो.
Correct.
So you were like, no, I mean, I don't think he's from Jalandhar. Maybe Ludhiana, maybe Chandigarh. He's like, no, he is from Jalandhar. And we were very surprised. And even she was like, yaar, ye kaise ho sakta hai?
I was like, I know everybody. Please show me. So I told someone that
Yeah.
please show me this profile, and because I couldn't find you when I typed in your name, and then
Right.
he opened it, and then I was like, oh my god, this is really cool. And then I saw, I remember showing Sid. And and I was like, okay, I must follow this person. Like, who is this person? He's like, yeah, he follows Zoka. Like, you must know him. He already,
Yeah.
comes to your cafe. So I'm guessing like he is from your city.
Should know you.
Yeah, should
It
know you.
felt
Oh,
like that, no? Like, how come we don't know each other
Exactly,
till
exactly.
now?
Yeah.
So because you're so cool and we're so cool, right? And then this was introduction number 1, and then we probably like kept following you, and you're not very active on Instagram. Like
Yeah.
kabhi you put
On
it
and
and
off.
be like, oh, great, nice. We still haven't seen a person flying around, so पता नहीं कहाँ होगा, maybe कहीं exteriors में है.
Right.
And then recently we had our friend Sid, who's a photographer, come, and he was like, do you know Jashan? And he was like, I was like, Jashan, yes, Jashan, I know Jashan.
What
Do
the
you know
name?
Jashan? Have you seen this person? Is he actually a person? And he's like, yeah, he's very much flesh and blood.
Yeah.
He's-
Also, I think your profile doesn't have too much of your
Yeah,
face.
no.
It has like a lot of your like the activities that
Yeah.
you do, basically like
Correct.
like
It's very
paragliding
like,
and para.
that profile is
Motoring.
like, hey, I am this, but,
Yeah.
But
you won't know anything
you
about
won't-
me. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like-
It's
It's
like-
mostly like a
personal,
archive for me
right.
कि बाद 10 साल 20 साल बाद देखेंगे
You'll-
अच्छा इत्थे आ कर
इत्थे
रहे
आ कर
थे.
रहे. Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
And also like when I was in the hobby, I used to look for a lot of like Indian content.
Right.
क्योंकि बाहर US and UK, Canada, you'll see a lot of people flying. You'll see a lot of videos, but doing the same thing in India is a whole different ball game.
Agreed.
And when you get like a local perspective कि अपने देश च किद्दां हो रहा वा, it gives you a different insight and makes things easier. The main intent is to like get to that point where making educational content and also like good looking content where
Of course.
people look at it and they're like, wow, okay, this is something I would like to do. So that's the main idea.
I think it's very important to take people out of their like mundane lives के यार कुछ और भी करो. And then Sid told us that you are actually a founder of 2 different companies, Forklift and RentTop, and that those companies are doing their thing there, and you're here doing your thing. And I was like, Sid, his number right now, right now, and then here you are. And like that is something that really kind of, I personally feel that everybody should automate.
Right.
Delegate, automate, and be financially free in terms of, yes, your basic necessities are taken care of by the work you've done, by the work you've put in, by the team you've made, by the systems you've set.
Right.
And you should be able to do other things rather than just go to the office. Come back in the evening and then be like, oh, Shimla chale 4 din ke liye
Yeah,
in
nahi ja
December.
sakte, can't go anywhere.
Like
yeah.
you can't go anywhere. You can't like be like you. Let's say like this podcast. Like let's say if I have to go to my work at a specific time and like I have to be there for that specific time, I won't even think कि यार मैं 1.5 घंटे का किसी को बुला के podcast करूँ. So I mean, I'm not saying we're there yet, but I mean, I really kind of appreciate the fact that you've done it. So we're going to kind of pick
Dwell
you on
into
that. But yeah, let's start with early life. You have grown up in Jalandhar. Tell us a little about what early school life was for you.
Yeah, so I was born in Uttarakhand.
Okay.
In this place
UK.
called this place called Rudrapur. It's in the foothills of Uttarakhand.
Right.
Nainital to around 100 kilometers.
Okay.
So I was born in Bareilly in Uttarakhand. I was there till 2nd grade, 2002. 2003 we moved back to Jalandhar. So my nani's place is in Jalandhar.
Okay, nice.
Over here. And my sister, she wanted to do medical.
Okay.
So Rudrapur and Uttarakhand at that time, not very great for education.
Right.
And my mom's been like always pro, like बढ़िया अपन को education देनी है. So she was like, okay, maybe you want to try in Jalandhar or elsewhere. We should have a look at that.
Right.
So she came looking here and she found MGN.
Okay.
It's like, okay, बढ़िया school है. So mom and sister planned to move to Jalandhar, while me, I have 2 sisters, 2 elder sisters.
Okay.
The eldest sister and mom wanted to move here for medical. Then they were planning कि अच्छा कितना करेंगे. Then they came here and they found out like DPS recently opened. It was the first year for DPS.
Okay.
So then my sister was like, maybe innanu we up, both of them, we can shift them here as well. So that's when the shift to Jalandhar
Nice.
happened, and probably one of the good decisions of my parents,
Right.
which like it completely transformed my life, because in Uttarakhand and UP at that time, it was not very like you don't have a lot of exposure. People are not doing a lot of creative things. You don't interact much, and we were living kind of on the outskirts. One thing which was good was I was brought up on a farm. My dad is an agriculturist.
Nice.
So from the beginning, I used to go to the farm, ganne ke tod ke, and kheta ch bhajje firo. So that was like a very good part.
So that was the initial exposure you
Initial
got.
exposure where just being out in the fields. So our house was probably 15 kilometers out of the city.
Acha.
In the farm itself.
Okay.
ਉੱਥੋਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ. Then
Farm ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ,
and later we moved to the city, but still the culture over there, it's still, I would say, progressing, not
Right,
at the
of course.
point where things are out here. So they moved us here as well, DPS, which was a great. I made the best of my friends out here, and after that was here in Jalandhar till 10th grade.
Okay.
And फिर जलंधर च भी रह के इतना लगन लग पिया कि होर थोड़ा exposure चाहिए. Met some very nice friends who like introduced me to technology and like a lot of other
In Jalandhar?
in Jalandhar
What
itself.
kind of technology?
Like I had a friend whose dad was an electronics engineer.
Okay.
And he had a full like a hobby lab at his
Nice.
at his house.
At his house.
Yeah. And he let us go and experiment कुछ भी उत्थे करो अपना. And I'm a big geek, you know, like technical stuff a lot. So उत्थे सी छोटे छोटे project निक्के मोटे light automate करती the wonder world. This is back in like 2003 2005 when we were like kids. So we used to make like small projects like this. So he helped me, you know, like gain a lot of expertise in coding. छोटे ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਸੀ ਉਦੋਂ. So then like I started, you know, like researching. My dad got me a computer in 5th grade, which was also brilliant. ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਫਿਰ ਥੋੜਾ like, you know, like the
horizons ਖੁੱਲੇ.
yeah, कि, oh wow, there's a lot more. So then I felt like कि I need to go to like a bigger city because everything I'm searching, all maybe I want, you know, some conference I learned something from, or some parts I want, nothing is available here. Everything's maybe Bombay, Delhi. So like that kept happening multiple times where, you know, I found a lot of interesting people and none of them are accessible sitting here. And when you're in school, you don't have, you know, like you can't just like go out for a day trip and come back.
Right.
So I'm like, I need to shift base. मैं घर दे ਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਨਾਵਾ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਗਏ. And my dad, he was in Uttarakhand. Mom used to stay here. And dad used to
keep
shuttling up, which was already like a big because I knew how it like hampered their life not spending time together for only for us to like have a better education. On top of that, now I'm like, you know, asking them ki acha Delhi chalo. So I'm thinking like, how do I, you know, put this across to them in a way that, you know, so I tell them, okay, I want to do IIT. And even my teachers kept telling me, like especially physics, and there were certain subjects I was very good at. So those teachers told like kept telling my parents, "Hey, kuch karuga, theek hai, inu push do inu." So I banged on that, and my teacher kept telling me to IIT kar, idda kar. मैं कहा चल idea तो बढ़िया हुआ, try कर लेने हैं. I didn't know what I was stepping into, but then I'm like, okay, that's a way for me to, you know, get into that. So I was like, mom coaching चाहिए है, ते Delhi ਦਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੁਛ ਕੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ. And mom's like always pro education. She got very happy कि अच्छा सामने आ गए चल तेनू Delhi लेके. And my sister was already working in Delhi, so she's like, okay, I have a counselor here, I'll make you meet the counselor and you can figure out how to take things forward. Joined IIT coaching over there and gave some interviews in Delhi for some schools. Got into modern school. That was also like one nice experience. So the IIT coaching bit, it didn't go as planned because man, it's a lot of consistency and a lot of तो इतना ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਮਤਲਬ कि I used to enjoy it a lot, very technical and very hardcore science. I used to enjoy it, but the thing is you miss 2-3 days of class and completely go out of context. जब तक वो chapter खत्म नहीं होया ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੱਲੇ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਣਾ. And you know, there are times when I maybe working on some project, कोई इधर event है उत्थे चल गए.
It was a decoy, right?
Yeah. I still think if I would have had the consistency, I would have like made it through. But I think it's for the good only. You know, like I found a lot of other ways to grow my skills and expertise. So yeah, no hard feelings in that. But yeah, it was a good what do you say, orchestrated move to get myself out, and that completely changed my perspective as well. Delhi jaake utthe, like you feel like such a small person coming from a small town and all these hep kids doing hep things. Thoda apne ch hega siga because, you know, I also from even Jalandhar people, you know, right? Making the good stuff,
making waves.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I think modern school, sorry, I'm cutting you out. Modern school from DPS is a really, really big jump, and not in terms of curriculum, but in terms of culture.
Yeah.
What was that like? Were you in sorry, look at me asking Delhi questions. Were you in Basant Vihar?
Yeah.
He knew that was coming.
Yeah.
So,
I know. So I was going to mention it over there, but I'm like, okay, I'll keep it for the podcast.
Okay. Nice.
So what was that like?
What was that like? What was the exposure from?
Very intimidating. Extremely intimidating, but the you know, the Jat vibes really help. We don't care. It's okay. You can make us feel bad. Might not, because you feel like अच्छा मैंने आ नहीं पता नवा culture. At that time BlackBerry and everything was pretty fairly new, right? And these guys are all on it, and they have these like closed knit groups. 10 साल दे friend They're trying to like give you vibes like we'll push you out and stuff. And then I was really into sports. Like I was enjoying basketball a lot at that time. So I found my gang of people. Appa basketball और लेना बढ़िया यारी दोस्ती बना ली, and that was my into that group. But it was extremely intimidating. I think first 6-7 months I felt like, okay, well, this is slightly hard to get used to.
Right.
And they will not invite you to parties and thought they career the culture है, mom's not used to like you going out at night and stuff.
Right,
Then you feel left out कि यार सारे जा रहे हैं, मैं इतना हूँ कितना कर रहा है and all that. But like sooner or later you get used to that and you're like, okay,
It's okay.
it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a hype that they create.
Yeah,
So
it
it
is
was
actually,
yeah. It was kind of intimidating, but also good learning experience because I feel like it really put me out of my comfort zone. And I was very shy before, couldn't talk to people and wouldn't approach. इदा मेरे दिल च इदा गल होनी कोई, मैं कहना यार इन्हू पुछ ला वा जाके इदा बस किदा, but I never used to do that before.
Right.
That really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and even the people over there, the way they like approach things and all, lots of learning from there. So that was,
very different from how we like. ਸਾਡਾ ਤਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਕੈਸਟੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਮਤਲਬ ਮੇਨ
Yeah,
ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਕਿ
yeah.
ਅੱਛਾ ਹਾਂ ਕੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਾਂਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਐ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਪਹਿਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ ਫਿਰ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ.
And super laid back,
ਮਤਲਬ
very laid back. कि आराम ना कम करना, कोई हसल वाइब
hustle है ही नहीं.
है ही नहीं, मैं पता ही नहीं हसल वाइब की होती
Even
है.
when I was in Bombay, so this is something that I remember मैं had just shifted to Bombay and ਮੀਂਹ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਹਿ ਗਏ ਘਰ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਮੀਂਹ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ.
ਮੀਂਹ ਪੈ ਰਿਹਾ ਬਈ.
I didn't know ਕਿ ਮੀਂਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਦ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ there's it's going to rain for like 2 months continuously. Like, oh, it's raining, so that means sit at home. अगले दिन फिर मੀਂਹ ਪੈ ਰਿਹਾ.
है.
मैं क्या अच्छा चलो 2 छुट्टियां, that's fine. And then I was just standing at my window and looking like लोग जा रहे हैं. So Bombay, you've been to Bombay obviously.
Yeah, my sister's married in Bombay.
Oh great. So it's a sunny day. You're moving out and suddenly it starts raining, like suddenly. So everybody carries a chhata. Walking. Me आया, छाता निकाल लिया, चल रहे हैं, मी चला गया नीचे. It's like normal.
Yeah.
So I realized कि I said this is going to be a part of life.
Right.
ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਚਾਹ ਤੇ ਪਕੌੜੇ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਘਰ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਓ ਕਿ ਜੀ
मौसम बढ़िया हो गया आज.
You have to like that
You have
go
to be
getter
up and-
attitude
yeah,
कि
yeah,
यार
up and about,
फ्लड
keep
आए हैं,
moving.
यहाँ तक पानी है, लोग को चप्पलें हाथ में पकड़ी हैं,
चल रहे हैं. Yeah, people don't care.
ऑटो वाले आ रहे हैं, जा रहे हैं, बैठो सर कोई बात, मतलब it's a different kind of
People are on the move all the time. Bombay especially I've noticed way more
ਰਾਤ
than.
ਨੂੰ 4 ਵਜੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਓ ਤਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰ ਲਾਈਕ ਟ੍ਰੈਫਿਕ, ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਜਾ ਰਹੀਆਂ, ਆ
ਸਹੀ
ਰਹੀਆਂ,
ਗੱਲ.
ਲੋਕੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ, ਰਾਤ ਵਾਲੇ ਆਟੋ ਵਾਲੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ. It was like I was like okay, this is how things work.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was a similar experience for you
Similar
in
experience,
Delhi.
yeah.
Did you also find your tech group there?
Yes. So I started, like there's a site called meetup.com. So I got introduced to that from Delhi friends, of course.
We
Yeah.
don't know about this obviously because
So I started. That was the place where all these tech meetups and everything, people used to post a lot about that. And there were these very small niche groups, like 10-member, 15-member groups, who used to do workshops on microcontrollers or JavaScript. They also like I won't say startups because back then this culture was just starting, or maybe I was too young to understand
Right.
what a startup is or something. But like tech companies, small tech companies, they would do like events कि अपना असी कुछ नवा बनाया वा ते just calling people to come and
Come and
discuss
very
about
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Nice.
This was what year was this?
This was 2011.
What was happening back then?
But
Very cool.
very like niche, 10 लोग की 5 लोग की इतना.
अच्छा.
Yeah. And then from school I got introduced to this hobby called ham radio, which is like जिदा old school war radios देखे बड़े बड़े एंटीना ला के लोग की गल. People still do that, like
They do?
Yeah.
Okay.
For hobby sort basically.
Okay.
To understand how radio propagation works, and the Department of Telecom gives you a license and a call sign, and you can legally operate, like carry radios and operate.
Wow.
मेरे को तो बड़े बड़े radio पे है, and sitting here you can talk to like across the world.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
And it's legal and like
And it's legal, yeah, of course. And you can also listen to any services which is using radio.
it?
Whatever you can think, like fire, air traffic,
police and
everything.
all like
Yeah, I mean, it's because I have a license.
You can.
I can listen to it, but I keep it, like very discreet.
Obviously, yes.
Just for
So
information.
anybody who has a ham radio anywhere in the world, you can contact them.
You can contact them, and this is like again a niche community. So the other person you're talking to, he knows कि अच्छा ये बंदा operator है, ये technical बंदा है, इधर भी like. So then the way you make friends with these people, because at this time a lot of people ask me कि ਹੁਣ तेरे को WhatsApp आए और तू रेडियो लेके चक्की फिरदा, मतलब what is the use of all this? But it's just a way to like express your technical urge. And super technical, like the propagation changes month on month depending on how the ionosphere is charged by the sun. So ਅੱਜ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਿਗਨਲ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸਪੇਨ,
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ,
ਤੇ ਉਹ 3 ਘੰਟੇ ਲਈ ਚੱਲਣਾ,
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ,
and suddenly that goes away and another one opens to like Australia or something. So
okay,
and the way you point your antenna and how high your antenna is, all these things determine. So that was something I was introduced to from one of my friends in Delhi. I got like hooked on to that.
That sounds so interesting. But how do you know, like if you're sitting with your ham radio right now, how do you know where all can you send your signal to?
You don't actually initially.
It's just
shuru ch to tanu you just need to try it out. It's like a hit and trial. You put your antenna and you like try to give a call. Hello, koi sun raha, mainu sun raha, something. Pehlo to kuch nahi hona. Fir then you start receiving. The fun is to like first receive signal. Jithe jo tusi sun pa rahe hain, ਉੱਥੇ like more chances that you will be able to send a signal. So before like transmitting, first you like just 3-4 दिन ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਸੁਣੀ ਜੋ ਇੱਧਰ ਨੂੰ ਐਂਟੀਨਾ ਲਾਇਆ, ਅੱਛਾ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ, ਇੱਧਰ ਨੂੰ ਕਰੋ, and you like get an understanding of what the propagation's like. And once you start hearing stations, then you realize, okay, this time of the day this side works better. So the next day you try, and there are certain stations who work like high power and they have good antenna, मतलब pro लोकी जेडे हैं,
right.
they can pick out your signal from a lot of noise. So you listen for them कि ये बंदा रोज आंदा इन्ने बजे, कल आऊगा इन्ना मैं गाल करूँगा फिर. So you like slowly.
And at this moment you don't know कित्थे बैठा है बंदा.
No, you can find out on the internet. साढ़े इधर एक अपना social media for ham radio operators. We have a thing called a call sign, which is like a license plate. So you put their call sign there, and they'll have a page saying, "Ah, mera equipment, ah, mera station."
Very cool.
Very like old school. एकदम जैसे पुराना Reddit होता सी
Right.
उधर दवा, and like super technical. They're discussing about their antennas and everything.
My God.
So you can find out where they are. And also from the call sign you can figure out कि केड़ी country दा. Every country has a different prefix. So you just listen to the जैसे India the VU
yeah,
plus 9
yeah,
same concept. So it's like VU in India. Anything starting from VU
is
Victor United.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is all Indian. So Spain is Echo India, like EA. इधर तुसी सुनते रहो फिर तानू you get an understanding. Plus you get a map with like all the call signs.
कित्थे है कैसे. And like do you like have some particular people you talk to, like
same license holders like me. इधर दे उन्होंने कितो पता लगा होना, and technical people, they get hooked on to things like this. So yeah, similar like-minded people, and everyone you talk to will have like a second hobby, which is like complementing, because like the kind of things I do, all of them I think have some commonalities between them. So it's always nice to know more, or maybe similar, like aviation and ham radio goes hand in hand.
Right.
Because even in aviation, like communication is like the key.
Right.
So generally these hobbies kind of align with each other, and complementing skills. So yeah, that, and then you must have seen like all big events, big gigs, or anything major would have some sort of communication.
Right, of course, yeah. Aapa suite, they have.
I have this gear where I just have the scanner. Like any event we go to, or maybe like a race or something, ਪਹਿਲੋਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਫ੍ਰੀਕੁਐਂਸੀਆਂ ਸਕੈਨ ਮਾਰਨੀਆਂ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਵਨਸ ਨੋਟ them down put them on scan listen to the whole process ਕਿ ਅੱਛਾ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ how who's the race director and who is talking to even in paragliding so you have like different groups ਕਿ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪਣੇ friend group ਹੁੰਦੇ and you're flying out in different directions and they generally don't share with like the
other groups.
ਥੋੜਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ like ਜਿੱਦਾਂ snowboarder and
of course
similar so like Russian ਦਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ group ਅਲੱਗ ਹੋਣਾ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ interact ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ Europeans are like more they'll take you along and stuff but these are all like data points for you when you're flying right so I'll like have everyone's frequency on my radio and then I have one channel one radio only for my friends so I'll take information from everyone ਆ ਬੰਦਾ ਇਸ ਪਹਾੜ ਤੇ ਆ ਇੱਥੇ weather ਇੱਦਾਂ ਵਾ collate all that and like give it to people so like you can gather a lot of information even like listening to air traffic or listening to the police or something thoda like you understand my motive is to like understand how the operation is working because like what's happening on the radio it's very real time on ground ithe ohi chal raha hone and you're the first person to like get that information so this like as a hobby I started this but it's like adding a lot of value back in the
other things that
I do
you're doing.
yeah
Delhi was good to you.
Delhi was super good.
What happened after Delhi like?
After Delhi then फिर तो दिमाग इतना ਹੁਣ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ like
खुल गया
ਹੁਣ ਜਲੰਧਰ ਤਾਂ ਵਾਪਸ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਅਜੇ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਵਾਪਸ although I was always like really enjoyed coming back here because that laid back culture I think is also very good which people in big cities lack because they keep like hustling a lot
constantly
and mess up their brain just keep doing hard work and not switching off from it so that part of it I really like where you could just like step out of it and come back home is like nice peaceful just super relaxed mummy ne khana banana bahut vadiya and like chill out with friends and yeah so I have good like best of my friends are from school here so I really love that so
nice.
Yeah Delhi happened and then like college stress kithe jana ye wo IIT started with that right ਹੁਣ ਮੰਮੀ ਵਾਪਸ ਬੇਟਾ ਆਇਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੂੰ IIT ਕਰਨ ਸੀਗਾ ਹੁਣ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇਰਾ ਪੂਰਾ full stress like even I'm feeling like ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੁਣ life is going like this till now and this is I like by that time I realized okay like picking a good college is or any kind of college is gonna shape your life like so I was very stressed at that time ki hun agge ki karna and I wasn't like a very smart kid I had like few subjects where I was physics and math and computer science tech related basically technical wale jehde wo apne pure strong sige baaki cheezaं thodiyan on and off yeah like chemistry also not so great so I didn't make it to the top colleges and I was really like let down by it ki hun ki kariye then I found out Manipal was good that looked interesting and ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਆ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਆਇਆ ਕਿ Hyderabad and Bangalore and Chennai these places are now even better. Hardcore in tech like they say Silicon Valley so I started because I was with a lot of these microcontroller guys and technical people all of them again like started talking about अच्छा मैं Bangalore ਤੋਂ ਮੰਗਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਵਾਂ ਆ ਬੰਦਾ ਮੇਰਾ Chennai ਤੋਂ ਬਣਾਣਾ so I figured out okay there's
more to it
so and at that time I was at this point where like mom dad like theek hai because I'm the youngest of all
right
so they gave me like freedom tu hun kar la jo apna karna zyada tere to expectation hai nahi bas like do something good and like make sure like you make good of it so then I'm like okay Manipal jana someone told mom that Manipal is like a really druggy college ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਤਾਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਭੇਜਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ and I don't know where she got that probably the counselor told her or something she's like ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾ ਭੇਜੋ and she said send them to so then my mom was like okay Hyderabad or Bangalore
okay
somehow she got this idea
wow
I didn't even know okay अच्छा Bangalore भी is like a good option.
Right.
I wasn't considering it. I was thinking maybe like Manipal or some other big university. But some of mom's like, मैं सुना है इतना Hyderabad, Bangalore, बड़ा tech culture बढ़िया. फिर then I started doing more research about it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That sounds good. So I did this exam, जेड़ा कर्नाटका the colleges ਲਈ ਹੁੰਦਾ.
Okay.
Surprisingly, it went very well.
Okay.
Yeah. When I gave the exam, I was in a good mood. The questions were kind of around my
Your
line of
expertise and
yeah,
what you like.
and got like in the top 5 colleges over there.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, chalo, this sounds good. But initially, when I went to Bangalore, जेड़ा मेरा जिथे center सीगा, that was like outskirts of Bangalore.
Okay.
पूरा पिंड वाली जगह एकदम बिल्कुल.
Okay.
उत्थे गया मैं कहा यार आ की वाइब है. मतलब
Can no IT से
हाँ तो इतना अपने जलंधर है तो ज़्यादा बढ़िया हुआ. But that was like outskirts. I never went in the city. But होया की बाद फिर जो रिजल्ट आए, that was the only option I had, you know, Bangalore. फिर अब पक्का चल ठीक है देख और एक बारी. So went with dad, checked out the college, and that's when I like explored the city side. I'm like, wow.
Okay. So Bangalore, when you went to Bangalore, what college did you end up getting into?
It's called Dayanand Sagar.
Okay.
Not very famous, but city center de lag gaya.
Nice.
It's in South Bangalore and maybe 5 kilometers from Koramangala. So that was one good thing. Jede utte the better colleges I had, they were a little bit in the outskirts. My college was, I won't say the best of the best colleges in terms of education. Like honestly didn't learn lot of useful.
Who learns in college?
Yeah, ये भी कर ला. But I was really hoping, you know, because I took telecom engineering because of this ham radio and everything and electronics. I thought, you know, telecom would be something I would do really good in because I understand radio waves and all that. And I joined and I figured out कि यार अपना ये सब तो थोड़ा old school हो गया हूँ. And also the hardware side of things is not growing as much, you know, it's not as interesting. So yeah, I was in college and then figured out कि any scale hona badhiya. This is good for a hobby, but need to find something else to do for work.
But at that moment, you wanted to do something related to radios, like that. You wanted to make that somehow a profession.
Yeah, some radio and electronics.
Electronics.
Yeah, something in between this, where you know some kind of automation, but mostly on hardware. Because I'm working a lot with like micro like ICs and chips and things like that. And I thought there's like big future in this because it's like the base of what all this software is being built on, right? But it's not very interesting.
It is not.
No, the kind of things. I mean, in my perspective, of course, there's depth in that as well. But the kind of things I like is more like it's very back end. कि ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਹੁਣ like ਇਹ mic ਚ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੀ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ, but like it brings out like awesome quality. Like what you can do with this mic, like call people and all that, is way bigger than that one chip which is inside, which is doing good. So it's super on the back end. मतलब किसी ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ and how you're impacting things with it, but it's still like really technical and काफी हुआ मतलब organized जी industry are not a lot of dynamic and grand things you can do in it. You have to
कि उत्थे की रहना है मतलब वही करना है.
And there are like industry tycoons. So like going against them, making your own, designing your own chips, extremely hard. Like वो hardcore science वाला काम है. So थोड़ा ही उधरों दी like got a little off it, and then you know college made it worse. The way they taught us about all this hardware, मत्था मारे और देश मैं कहा ये तो बिल्कुल आगे नहीं करना. And then slowly started getting into like the software side of things. I met my co-founder in college. We were college mates.
So you met in college.
Yeah.
I have a question here. Sorry to cut you off. I wanted to understand like a young boy going from Uttarakhand, completely different environment. Then you come to Jalandhar, best city in the world, by the way.
I'd agree.
And then like things happened here. You made friends here. You got in touch with your love for electronics and did some experiments, automations, and now then you went to Delhi. Modern school was again like now you're at another level. You're like acha hun ki karna hai.
Right.
And then now you're in Bangalore, like the IT hub. I think when you were there was when it was actually
beginning to boom.
like you were like at
To
that perfect
scale.
time to kind of
Saw the transition.
right
Yeah.
ਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਜੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ like tip of the
Correct.
iceberg ਉਹਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕੀ ਹੈ
ਕੀ
like
ਹੈ?
we don't know maybe
Yeah.
you saw that happening.
Yeah,
So what was
exactly.
culture over there like studying in a college in Bangalore in the city center? How was it different from modern college or DPS or Uttarakhand? Like what
Right.
did you feel?
So first of all, like the biggest change coming from Delhi was that the show off bit is really less. That was like such a nice thing to go there and observe because like I don't like spending a lot of time on dressing up or things. More about ki acha what are you working on and kuch like deep technical sort of discussions. So that is one thing I instantly fell in love with when I went there. People are everyone's on to something and
Right.
and they're extremely motivated and at the same time they're humble about it. You ask them a question, they get very happy and excited to share knowledge about that.
Right.
So that is one big difference I saw over there. And everyone's like at that point, like you said, it was the start of this tech revolution, I would say. Bokat hunde si the IT parks and startups over there. It was just like getting started. And I think why it became such a big thing is because the whole community there was very supportive of each other.
Right.
And knowledge sharing was at the max. We used to go to events and meet people over there who were like more experienced.
Of course, yeah.
And then you just go talk to them कि यार मेरा थोड़ा फंसा होया project. Like we used to do freelance projects in college. The छोटी मोटी website बनाती किसी दी सब.
Acha, okay.
Yeah.
So you went to websites like that.
Started with websites.
Okay,
Me
okay.
and my co-founder we did a PHP course in college.
Nice.
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਕਾਲਜ 'ਚ ਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਵਿਪਰੋ TCS ਹੀ ਨਿਕਲਨੇ ਆ and that's not something which I want to settle to, so want to do something more. So we started doing websites and we'd meet these people ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਯਾਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਫਸੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ. These people who go to great lengths, 1.5 ਘੰਟਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ 2 ਮਿੰਟਾਂ 'ਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਉਹ ਸੋਲਵ ਕੀਤਾ. ਫਿਰ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ they'll give you a download of things. ਆਹ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਹ ਵਾਲਾ ਕੋਰਸ ਲੈ, this is my code base. They'll give me their own code base which they've spent years on. Just like I've seen like in tech community that is a lot. It's a very good thing.
It's there.
When people are done with doing their own thing, they just let the whole thing out. Like the code base or whatever learnings they have, they just give it for free. कि यार मैं तो हुन अपना कर ले तो
use it and
yeah
grow with
I think
it.
that's the reason why IT kind of grew. Maybe that
Right.
is the reason.
Yeah.
because ਇੱਥੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲੇ ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ.
Especially in creative fields I've seen in like design or photography, people are very like कि मेरा skill set ਆ
Inclusive.
yeah ਇਹ ਮੇਰੀ expertise ਆ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਦੱਸਾਂ.
ਇਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਫਿਲਟਰ ਹੈ ਭਰਾਵਾ.
I think also like people don't want to give their secrets of trade because they feel like if they give them out, somebody else will do better. Not realizing that in that process you're also growing and the other person's also growing.
Definitely.
And then everyone is growing all together.
Right.
So I think that is a way, like it's a great community to be in.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, like most of what I've built and learned, it's like the stepping stone is of other like other people who've done work. I think that's why like tech revolutionizes so fast because people are comfortable with building, like letting things go, so that other people can build on top of that. Because when you start, you also like copy things from here and there. Sara GitHub to jao, code chakko, unnu chala do, and there is like complexity in that. But because you start things like that, you come in that state of mind that I want to like give back to the community as and when I can.
ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਕਿਤੋਂ ਕਿਸੇ source ਤੋਂ, I would also want to be a source.
Correct. Hence, being on this podcast, it feels like I've been like consuming a lot of long format. That's what practically I've like how I've learned major of my skills.
Right.
घंटे YouTube देखी आना. So like it's the first time I'm like I feel like I'm also adding back some paragliding or some guy will look at it be like अच्छा ये सही चीज़.
Yeah. But I think I have learned. I think my biggest teacher in life, I could say, I've said this before, is YouTube. When I started doing CrossFit,
right,
like there weren't a lot of CrossFit trainers where you could go to and just like be like हाँ मैं सिखा दो यार. It was just YouTube. True. I mean back then I knew the exact number of videos available for each movement. ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਕਿਹਾ, and I used to sit down whenever I used to get time to look at them again
and
then
reinforce
I
your
missed
learning.
this. And then gym was like a 5-minute walk. I used to go there, test it out.
Nice.
Oh, it didn't happen. वापस आके फिर. So my roommate Vishwas was like, "Hey, यार मतलब
क्या है?
Even that. This was in
बाहर
Bombay?
भी दुनिया है. This is in Bombay.
Okay.
ये बाहर भी दुनिया मतलब YouTube से मैं कहता नहीं यार मैंने disturb ना कर.
I think
Yeah.
still like you love.
I still love YouTube. I
Same.
keep watching. I think
Same.
if like I actually so we don't get to see a lot of Netflix and stuff like that.
Right.
At night before sleeping, like half an hour we'll watch some random stuff. ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਨਵਿੰਸ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਾ YouTube ਦੇਖਾਂਗੇ. ਇਹ ਮੰਨ ਗਈ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ.
Nice.
ਤੇ
nice.
it's like oh YouTube ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਬੈਠੇ हैं देखते go to sleep. So maybe that's a little too extreme. Veera, we should watch something else.
No, I think it's fun. I think when you
Yeah.
enjoy like learning something and not because like I think consuming content which is not really adding any value is now it at this point in
Yeah.
life feels a
Little-
bit it feels like a waste of time.
True.
So rather not consume it or
Yeah.
like consume something that actually
is
adds
value.
value because you end up learning something.
Right.
And I think that's how it is with even conversations.
True.
Like you don't want to like talk about oh Jashan, nice t-shirt, oh you're looking great.
Yeah.
Oh,
And what's your friend doing?
yeah, what's your
and
friend doing? So this,
तेरा
after
उन्ने
a
आ
point
कर लिया.
you'll be like,
Hmm.
what should I talk to this person about?
True.
Okay, but now here we can talk about a lot of things,
Lot
which
of
is like
things.
yeah. So
Yeah.
And I mean,
feel like-
people get to benefit from it in terms
absolutely, absolutely.
of like some people think that there are three blabbering idiots just going on. Some people are like, oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. You know, so
True.
I think that is very important to kind of share our experience with where we have been, so
Yeah.
that somebody can look at it and be like, oh, so I'm stuck here. Maybe this
True.
छोटी जी thing might help me.
Best thing about long format is like ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ scrolling crowd ਆ ਉਹ already like
Yeah, so
they
you
don't have the
your-
patience for
yeah, they don't.
sitting through and
They
coming
can't.
to the juicier bits, right?
Yeah.
You need to go through a lot of crap to come to like
The essence of
what
it.
you want to extract out of it. And in the process, I think you learn a lot which you didn't expect. कि अच्छा
True.
आ भी मैंने
It's literally like you, when you watch long form, like I love Tim Ferriss as you love as well.
Right.
Like it's literally like you have made a new friend.
Yeah.
Like Tim
Exactly.
Ferriss ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ like ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਾ ਦਿਓਗੇ I will understand, oh that's Tim Ferriss, and like
Right.
it's like a friend who's constantly like talking to other people and like kind
Correct.
of telling me oh this is
Correct.
happening in the world,
Yeah.
that's happening.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't feel like I'm meeting you for the first time. You know, it feels like I know you guys and like, and we're kind of like the same vibe because
Right.
I've been like watching the content you put out, and it's very natural. I feel like it's not very choreographed or
It's not
scripted.
This is here every time in every episode, but
Yeah, we look at
hardly
it and
anything
then,
on it.
yeah.
Right.
It's just a prop, like
Yeah.
just for me to just to feel studious, like oh yes, very nice.
Right.
But okay, coming back to
YouTube
designing
and- yeah.
websites.
Right.
So this was you're in Bangalore.
College, yeah.
You're in college. You are designing websites as like a side gig.
Side gig.
For like pocket money. Like how much did you charge back then for like a website?
Started first gig we did for like ourselves just right after finishing the college ਤੇ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਾਲਜ ਸੀਗਾ ਨਾ they used to reschedule exams a lot. Like ਇਦਾਂ ਲਾਸਟ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮ ਆ ਕੁਛ ਇਵੈਂਟ ਆਇਆ ਜਾਂ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਉਹ 2 ਦਿਨ ਅੱਗੇ ਕਰਤਾ and because of that all the people who coming from outside now they have to cancel their tickets and all things like that. So we just like a side project we made this website called isuffered.com where we are asking all our friends ਕਿ ਇੱਥੇ ਭਰੋ ਵੀ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੂਜ਼ ਕੀਤੇ because of cancelling your ticket because we were really frustrated ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ. So it's like a change.org sort of a website.
Nice.
Just to like start things up. ਆਪਣੇ ਦੋਸਤ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਦੇਖੋ ਕੀ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਐਵੇਂ ਰੈਂਡਮ ਜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕੁਝ ਬਣਾ ਦੀ ਬਟ ਫॉर us it was like ਕਿ wow like you know getting and I think we got about 40 lakhs 50 lakhs
Wow.
of money which was spent by college students which went to waste some
Just because of postponing
and like some 4,000 5,000 entries across.
Wow.
And it scaled up like beautifully छोटी जी चीज बनाई था. That was very rewarding, so we started with that was the first gig. Then we were like okay this is nice, maybe we should do it more. So then again going out to events and we started talking to people yeah see the website bana le di ya choti moti ye wo and we had like good aesthetics were a little bit on point, better than like
A
the
lot of other
industry standard at that time. So we met these people called Bounce Wicked, right? Shaman works with them. Unna jada founder siga they at that time they used to do luxury motorcycle rentals like Harleys and Triumph, big bikes only.
Okay.
At that
Rentals.
Rentals. And they had like the एब्सोल्यूट बेसिक वेबसाइट देख के कहना इस वेबसाइट पक्का स्कैम है इतने हार्डली तो मिलता ही नहीं बिल्कुल एंड मी एंड माई पार्टनर वी वर बिल्डिंग रेंटॉप एट दैट टाइम उदो साडा उत्थों लाइक द कोडिंग एंड एवरीथिंग स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम दैट बिकॉज आई मेट दिस गाय एंड आई वाज लाइक वाओ लाइक गुड business intelligence and he knows how to kind of talk to people and do the business side of things which I am very bad at. I'm like a hardcore technical guy. मेरे को आर्किटेक्चर बना लो बैकएंड लिखवा लो बंदे आना गाल गुल I'm not good at that. So I saw a good partnership over there. So yeah, so then basically we saw their website and then this guy is like, bro ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ pitch ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ because we had already finished building like a prototype of RentTop at that time and it looked fairly good, like decent from college kids doing something. It was functional basically.
Right.
ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋ ਹਾਰਲੇ ਡੇਵਿਡਸਨ ਪਏ ਆ ਐਂਡ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਬੇਸਿਕ ਜੀ ਸਕੈਮ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਆਰ ਆਈਡੀਆ ਵਾਸ ਟੂ ਗੈਟ देयर ਬਾਈਕਸ ਔਨ ਆਵਰ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਐਂਡ ਡੂ ਲਾਈਕ ਅ ਪਾਰਟਨਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਡੀਲ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਬੁਕਿੰਗ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਆਈਆਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਵੀ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਵੀ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਸੋ ਵੀ ਅਪਰੋਚ them with this and they're like yeah although they were just starting up and they're like okay that sounds good ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਆਓ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਫਿਸ ਦਿਖਾਓ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਆਪਣੀ and next day went to their office showed them the website they're like mind blown ਕੀ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ and the founder he was a very smart guy instantly figured out these kids are worth something. Right. And he's like, you can come to my office, work anytime, do a website and tell us how much time and whatever. At that time we don't know like how this works, right? What is timeline, what is budget? Kare jaake fir like he has said ki come up with a quote or something. I was sitting and thinking yaar kinne paise mangiye dekho te us time idda bhi like building a functional website for like a business. This is something big, because like people are going to put their money on it and there's actual things aaj tak to mazak hi kar rahi I suffered wo jo bhi hai that's like even if it goes down no problem. So we were extremely stressed like banana kidda and our skills were very nascent, like we've never built any transactional sort of website but कॉन्फिडेंस लाइक टॉप नॉच है बंदे ना गल कर रहे हैं आ किद्दां बनाना अच्छा बुकिंग कैलेंडर चाहिए ये वो एंड हाउ आई एम आंसरिंग बिकॉज आई हैव सीन दिस ऑन अनदर वेबसाइट तो होगा ही मतलब कुछ अपन पता ही करना बस सर्च करके पता कर लेंगे सो लाइक द कॉन्फिडेंस वाज लाइक टॉप नॉच बट अंदरों पूरा एंग्जाइटी कि यार करना किद्दां सो देन Piyush kind of like he was like okay I'm just gonna like sign this up because I think it's good for us. Piyush is my co-founder and he's like I don't care, we'll just figure it out somehow and that's exactly how it worked out. He spent like sleepless nights for 3-4 weeks 5 weeks, made a beautiful website pura. So I think we charged 15,000 10,000 plus 5,000 bach dena and a free bike ride on a Harley in college. That was like the main thing is I'm 10 din bike rental chahiye and they won't give it to like college kids because it's like
an expensive bike.
Big bike. But I told them like buddy apne ko hai expertise and done a lot of riding before, not big bike riding but I used to do like apna ithe pulsar thiga chota bahut chote trips college. I used to do like short rides every weekend over there.
Nice.
So I was like okay chalo. Then they agreed to it somehow. So
of course they were like
yeah. Built the website, bugs आए initially thoda jaye good, extremely good learning experience but ultimately like 1 month down everything nice and delivered and we went on a ride अपना 2 दिन hardly going flat out on the highway all the way to Goa and back. In college I mean like अपना
that must have been something, man.
That felt very liberating, man, like and that amount of power they like never experienced in life before. मतलब ਉਹਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਖਿੱਚਣ 'ਚ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਉਹ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਵੀ ਕਿ ਨਿਕਲ ਨਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਉਹਦੀ so that was like very good liberating experience and also like business wise it was a good learning. So that happened. Then this guy is like ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਣਾਈ ਲਈ ਆ ਥੋੜਾ ਹੋਰ if you guys want to like work with me you're very and he was very flexible. That was one good thing ਕਿ ਇਦਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਉਹ ਨੀਗਾ ਬਾਉਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਆਫਿਸ ਆਉਣਾ ਵਾ ਇਹ ਕਰਨਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਾਰਟਸ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਆਫਿਸ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਸ਼ਾਮੀ 6 ਵਜੇ 12 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਫਿਰ ਘਰੇ ਆ ਗਏ ਐਂਡ started working very closely with them. They were also in a growing phase at that time so they gave us a lot of freedom कि जाओ स्टोर च जाके and then we started planning rides ਆਪਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਪਿਊਸ਼ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਬਾਈਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਲੀਡਿੰਗ 50 member bike ride and just like rode across South India.
Wow.
So
Everything happened on the website?
yeah.
Or this was like
No, this was
planning of the rides was on.
So RentTop then took a back seat ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਆਇਆ ਕਿ ਅਜੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਐਕਸਪਰਟੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਜੇ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸਕੇਲ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਬਣਾ ਤੇ ਲਿਆ ਟੈਕ but we don't know how to like scale it up.
So you had the basic algorithm of RentTop which you helped the Harley Davidson people with.
Bounce, right?
Bounce, yeah. Bounce was called Wicked Ride before.
Okay.
फिर बाद च they got funded and like pivoted to Bounce.
कहते life ही bounce करेगी तो ना ही bounce रख ले.
Yeah, exactly.
And then RentTop took a back step. You didn't launch it back then.
No, we did like a pilot with some close set of friends ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ bike work, but we weren't getting like the traffic ਜਿਹੜੀ transactional traffic was very low. Like the ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੀ ਜੋ ਤੇ booking ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, but as soon as you stop doing that it's all dead. So we realized okay, there's a lot of learning that, and then we saw these guys operate and we were like wow, rentals like super hard, and like even businesses like there's a lot of learning that we need to go through before we can make
actually
this
execute it. But then like can you explain RentTop for people who don't know what RentTop is?
Yeah. So RentTop's like a peer-to-peer vehicle sharing platform. If you have a vehicle that you're not using, you can rent it on the platform. Other people who want to, rent the vehicle can come on the platform. It's like a Airbnb for vehicles.
Any kind of vehicle?
Any kind of vehicle.
Like any, like 4-wheel, 2-wheel?
2-wheel, but primarily we're because Asia is like super high on 2-wheelers.
Right.
And you know how much work gets done, especially in tier 2, tier 3 on 2-wheelers.
Right.
So we're focusing massively on 2-wheelers. And cars are kind of like bit hard to manage because it's like a person's personal space.
Yeah.
This thoda ja, there is some, like it's not a very good business model to operate on higher value vehicles.
Got it.
So yeah, we're primarily focusing on 2-wheelers. So
and where, sorry, you were saying?
yeah, so I was saying like the process is we help you like onboard on the app, get you a GPS tracking device, and help you convert it to a black and yellow. Because a private vehicle, if you rent it out, there's a regulation, you won't get your insurance and things like that. People still doing it because it's like starting thing. They don't want to, first they want to try things out. So the model is first give him a few rentals with like your trusted riders, and post that get him to convert his bike to a black and yellow board. Once that's done, then you're like completely like your liabilities get covered by insurance.
Nice.
So yeah, once your vehicle's converted, then you can do rentals legally, and in case something goes bad, vandalism, theft or anything, you'll get like a insurance cover on that. And then we do like rider profiling. We consume your social media presence and your LinkedIn and everything, and give you a score ke ye banda theek hai.
Okay.
Yeah, this doesn't this person like that is where the core problem of this whole business is ki there's a lot of people in India who want to like just chori da saman and all that.
Right.
And I think it's also because we're a growing economy. Can't blame them. They see कि अच्छा ये देखो इतना कुछ है, मैं just take a battery from this bike maybe won't hurt him. But as a ecosystem, I think it really messes things up. So the core, we feel like the core intelligence of our product is to eradicate the bad actors and find out good quality riders. So we do a lot of like social profiling, and LinkedIn is like our major source of figuring out कि ये बंदा काम कर रहा है बढ़िया.
Right.
Because once you have like employment credibility, you can tell a lot about the person from that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, then you have like something to link that person to. Okay, oh, he's worked in this company, or like then
exactly.
Right.
It's not like कि पता नहीं कहाँ है जी.
Right.
आधार कार्ड भी है नहीं का.
Yeah. So we saw like a lot of vandalism cases in Bounce. The बंदे ने bike ले गए, literally like threw it at the side of the road in a ditch. ते आग लाती just like I don't know why would they do that. So
that
like
happened.
Lot like that's why that was a major reason why company took a downfall. COVID also like big hit, but vandalism was really high. We figured out that okay, this is something which is a big problem to solve, and because See, there are a lot of people who we figured out कि ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੱਡੀ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆਪਣੀ.
Right.
Our initial thought was कि people would not want to do that. But then we did some surveys where we're just asking people कि 5,000 रुपये ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦਾ ਕਮਾ ਕੇ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ. Would you like to give out your Activa or your scooter? And a lot of people, surprisingly, especially when the vehicle comes to the end of life, they're very open
Okay
up.
to-
But you have to win their trust. You know,
Right.
कि how would you ensure मैं अपना trust ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਰਿਹਾ, how do you ensure that this goes bad? So yeah, that's still ongoing. We're still working.
You're still working on it.
Yeah, we have about 2,500 vehicles on the
Wow.
platform. 13 cities right now.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and it's like we relaunched it, like redid it. I think Jan this
This
year.
man, okay.
Yeah, and it's going good.
Yeah. How did the idea come to you? कि यार,
Idea came in college. Like I had a bike. ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਆਪਣੀ bike ਲੈ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ and was doing all the bike rides and everything. And my friend Piyush, he used to live in a hostel far from the college.
Okay.
So he saw ਕਿ ਆਪਣਾ bike in weekend ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਵਾ, ਬਾਕੀ ਦਿਨ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ, because I used to live very close to college. So he asked me like, hey, can I use your bike? And him being like a Marwadi guy, ਸਿੱਧਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਇੰਨੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਦਊਂਗਾ, ਤੂੰ ਦੇਣੇ ਆ ਆਪਣਾ, because he knew ਕਿ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਮੰਗਣਾ without, you know, like yeah, very smart guy. So then we did that on a regular for a couple of months. I made good money. He had a bike. Yeah, I'm like, wow, dude. And it was his idea actually ki we should, you know, do something
Scale
around.
this,
Yeah. And me being a tech guy, I'm like, okay, you do the business side of things, I do the tech side of things.
Amazing.
So that's how it like originated.
So one interaction got scaled into a startup.
Yeah.
Literally one interaction.
One interaction.
So cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice. Best of luck for that. And what about Forklift? Like, what is Forklift?
So Forklift is like a B2B tech company where we make like software to help businesses manage their operations basically.
Okay.
It's more for back-end operations, not so much customer facing. We do very few like customer apps. Mostly we do applications where you have a business running right now. It's doing good. You're maintaining everything on sheets maybe or paper and everything. And now suddenly let's say you got funded or business doing very well and now you want to scale it up.
Right.
But things are going out of hand. Excel sheet च बंदे ने entry delete करती, ये करती, things like that, and you want to kind of link everything together. So we make softwares where any kind app, web app, if you have already 3 apps, linking them together.
Very cool.
So things like that, just to streamline things. So there's a process, and that process is backed by technology.
Got it.
So like especially like people who get funded, they're seeing good traction, but now they suddenly see like 10x growth.
Right.
Everything's going out of hand.
Right,
So
absolutely.
we like help automate things, put communication channels, and you know, make sure like every person, every team is, you know, only seeing the information
That they need to see.
they need to see, but at the same time it's connected to everything. It's not decoupled from everything.
Right.
So like basically with Bounce is where, you know, that was one of our biggest clients back then. We built the whole backend engine for them where all these bikes going around, so they had like a model where the bike can you can pick up a bike from anywhere, unlock it from your phone, which is the GPS device, Bluetooth device, unlock it, ride it to, let's say, GTB Nagar jana. You go there, end your trip, and just leave the bike there. So the bikes are just like floating around the city. And of course, they'll need maintenance, right? Then we had these bunch of people who would go fuel the bikes and all that. So we made that app like a Swiggy partner app kind of thing, where the agent ne ਸਵੇਰੇ ਉੱਠਣਾ, ਆਪਣਾ app on ਕਰਨੀ, ਉਹਦਾ task ਆ ਜਾਣੇ, ਆਹ ਵਾਲੀ ਬਾਈਕ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਤੇਲ ਪਾਓ, ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਹੈਲਮਟ ਪਾਓ, ਇਹਦਾ ਟਾਇਰ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰੋ. So he will like go around and do that. So building like back-end operations like this. Then another company called Drink Prime, they give water filters on rental.
Okay.
मतलब अपना filter लवाओ, do a recharge of 100 rupees and it will dispense water for 100 rupees.
What?
Yeah.
And then it'll stop.
Wait,
And then it'll stop.
Wait. I don't get that.
Could
It's they do water filter rentals.
Okay.
The house water filter.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I got it.
yeah, so you know, like people buy cans and bring. So it's like to eradicate that, they give you a filter at no cost.
Okay.
And then you can buy a subscription plan. like a prepaid recharge. 100,
Wow.
like you connect to your प्यास लग रही है, please recharge कर दो. Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do for the water filter company?
Yeah, so the water filter company, they like you can prepay and it dispenses the amount of water. So then the water filter has parts which need replacement. Customer has a complaint or something, and just managing the whole backend
Backend.
of. And also for them, we did the customer website. Jithunanu, they get requests for that. So like the website to generate leads and some things in the back end to manage the whole operation side of
Right,
things. Yeah.
right.
So we make apps for them basically, where the person who's going to service the filter or do a delivery and things like that. So they have already had like multiple systems in place. Communicationally एक software बनाया and then another one for the website and everything. We built a lot of intercommunication sort of modules for them. So that is basically Forklift, where we're working building tech solutions for people who are doing something and they want to scale it and they're facing issues maintaining it on pen and paper or in Excel.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's basically like the bread and butter for all the other things
Nice.
which are happening
So
around
that's
it.
that's forklift.
Yeah.
And is it like do you have a particular industry you work with, or you can provide solutions to any industry?
Yeah, so we like experimented a lot, worked with a lot of manufacturers in Ludhiana and a lot of distributors, but we found a niche around mostly tech companies and startups, especially in metros, because I think like tier 2 tier 3 the technology is still not penetrated. Like people have this idea that I want to invest on technology and build some website or something, but they don't actually like building a software and deploying it needs a different kind of mindset. Because initially you will feel Ludhiana people are running like crores of companies who are doing like big revenues, but everything's on pen and paper. It's very hard to like explain to them why they should transition to technology. ਉਹ ਲਾਲਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਯਾਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆ ਕੇ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਵਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਰੋੜਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਬਣਾਈ ਆ ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੰਮ ਤਾਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ. So it's really hard to like there are of course people like who have that mindset of expanding and growing. So but primarily we like focus around technology companies.
People who already understand technology, I think there are easier pitch as to how you can kind of just
and they're already using some sort of like a mechanism to try like Excel sheets or something where they have semi-structured data which can be interlinked, because starting an implementation from scratch where a person's on pen and paper ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਲੈਪਟਾਪ ਦਿਓ, ਉਹ on ground person ਦਾ ਸੋਚੋ, ਉਹਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੱਥ ਖੜੇ ਕਰ ਲੈਣੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, and then the owner's gonna say like you are hindering my process. So that goes for a toss. So it's already where the founder set like a perspective that everything needs to be on tech. It seems very like redundant initially when you start. मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ एंट्रियाँ पा रहे हैं फालतू मैं इथे लिख लेना, but on a whole it makes a lot of sense.
I think with time when you have that amount of data like kind of collected,
when you can look at things holistically,
then that's when you're like, oh
wow,
this is what's happening.
Like even for us when we start building something and when it's like in the journey you see these insight where like I never knew it's like working like this. So basically those sort of people who want to like scale things rapidly and do it in like decoupled fashion and more like process driven than people driven people.
Nice.
Yeah,
so that's forklift, huh?
that's what
Very
You had a
cool.
question?
No, I didn't have a question. I think like I feel like integrating technology and business is the need of the hour for everyone. I feel like we're a very small company, not too big, but I feel like we have shifted from like doing everything on pen and paper to putting everything on Excel sheets and making sure that everybody can actually
Google Sheets. Sorry.
Google Sheets.
Yeah,
Better.
Google
Nice.
Sheets, not Excel Sheets.
Yeah.
Google Sheets, and integrating everything so that anybody can like sort of access it. We know what's happening rather than going to a person and being like, कि तुम्हारे पास ये बताओ या inventory दिखाओ कितनी पड़ी है, हमें already पता है कि क्या हो रहा है, and इस ये खत्म होने वाला है तो हम ये order कर सकते, मतलब that process is there. So I feel like if you don't do that,
Yeah.
then you're just, and it's
Losing on a lot of productivity.
Yeah, losing on a lot of time as well. Like,
True.
so yeah, like it was really cool because I was imagining it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do it at a much bigger scale, and now I'm imagining
Now,
that
yeah.
people running like massive factories and doing things on a pen and paper is quite hard.
Quite hard.
But they love it. Like they don't feel, if you tell them, okay, you know, sir, you spent 10 hours in the office and every night you go home and do hisab. What if I told you things could be done in like 1 hour? You just have to go to 1 hour office. Hisab is done automatically. They'll be like, भैया हम करेंगे क्या फिर?
Yeah, सही बात.
धंधा हमारा ये, you know, it doesn't make sense to them.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's also astonishing to me. Like, in a way, it's beautiful how they run such complex things with such rudimentary, you know, like, processes.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't diss on it anymore. Before, I'd be like, oh, I don't have respect for this at all. But now I've come to that point where, like, I know my industry is, like, separate. And there are people who like to do things their way, which is also fine. So, just find the people who you align with. And, like you were saying, like, you know, I've automated things. A lot of that is in my company as well, is because, like, everything which can be replaced with, like, a tech tool, we implement that. Like, we have these Discord bots, which mostly, like, I just look at my Discord and I know, like, the state of how things are going, because you have these channels and there are, like, systems which keep putting in data automatically and people responding to them. So if, like, an employee is not proactive, I can tell, okay, he's got, like, these 6 things that he had to respond to, he hasn't. I just look at it. I don't even have to talk to him ki haan tu kinna kaam keeta ho. So I can, like, see it all in front of me. So it's a big part of how, you know, I can do the things that I want to, like, travel and go, like, work remotely, but at the same time not be disconnected from you know what I'm doing.
I think you'll probably be more connected
Yeah.
in terms of since everything is on like
Online,
a screen for you.
Yeah.
So how much time do you still? So now, forklift is what is the main business for Jashan, and it's happening in Bangalore, doing things worldwide, probably worldwide.
5 countries.
5 countries. There you go. Wow, he's like 5 countries.
Yeah, I mean, like, worked hard on it.
Of course. And then now it enables you to be in Jalandhar, your hometown, which is chilled out, and you paraglide, you paramotor, and you do amazing things. How much work on a daily basis do you have to put into forklift to kind of make sure it's functioning well?
So forklift, not so much. I would say, like, maybe an hour and a half,
That's it.
2 hours max on forklift. But the thing is, like, me and my co-founder, we're always in that hustle mode, you know, like, idhar chain na bya nahi janda bilkul bhi. So this happened, I think, like, last year or something, where we came to a point where ops was the easiest to automate. Tech, of course, like, wo to apna pata hi hai kidda karna sara. That's super simple. And we figured out hiring and firing भी अपनी industries, because in my industry कोई दीन मारने का coders दा.
अच्छा कितने
जो आगे बढ़िया package मिला तो नाल ही निकल गया. So we've also figured that out and, like, made a HR channel के continuous. ठीक है, इतना चल रहा है, it's fine. We don't even, like, feel bad. Someone learned something from us and moved past. It's like a process. Figured, you know, like, automated that part. Only the sales bit was something which took the longest to, you know, like, how to generate leads, because most of the business me and my partner were going and, you know, cracking.
Personally going.
Yeah. But then we, like, found some business partners and channels to kind of, like, just increase the inflow. And still, like, our part is now to just, you know, like, get those leads and make a good relation with the customer, and then take that understanding and, like, pass it to the team. And the team has a lot of checks and balances ki sara na kam up pe chali jao.
It happens. How big is your team?
Our team's like 30 people right now.
30 people.
Yeah, and semi on payroll, semi, like, freelancers.
But everybody, you don't have office? Everybody's at home.
We do have an office, one in Bangalore, another small one in Jaipur.
Okay.
But Bangalore one, we only go to when, like, the client's very pushy. You know, I want to see who you are, and ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਹੈਗਾ ਵਾ, like, you won't run away with
ਅੱਡਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ.
Exactly. So mostly for that. And Jaipur office for some employees, because they don't want to work from home. Like, we want, like, a separate space to work at. So that's for them. So, but otherwise, everybody is, like, working remotely.
Nice.
Yeah, and they kind of enjoy it also. There's, like, there is a slight lack in productivity, very mild, but I think it's good because we don't track like कि बंदे ने login कदों कीता कदों login कीता. It's all on like task base.
ਕੰਮ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ.
ਕੰਮ ਹੋਣਾ ਇੰਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਟਾਸਕ ਆਇਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਾਤੀ ਕਰੋ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਕਰੋ ਕਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਕਰੋ 2 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ your wish whenever you want to do.
Nice.
So and like yeah, it's beautiful. Like so many of our employees, never met them, shakal भी नहीं देखी बस इतना गल हुई है, and then they're on the Discord and they're super proactive and we're like nice,
Okay, good
Well
job.
done.
good job. Yeah, let's just keep working like that.
That's very cool, man. So how does that enable you to do, like, say, how did paragliding happen? Like, was this after you had set up forklift or during, or like
During college time.
During college time.
Long story.
Why not?
Yeah. Okay, so wicked ride. I used to do a lot of bike rides.
Okay.
Kafi matlab every weekend doing like legit like 100 500 700 kilometer rides. Used to ride a lot and got in that culture again, started seeing a lot of YouTube. te ek banda siga UK da, his page is called C90 Adventures.
Okay.
Have you seen Luna, TVS Luna?
Yeah.
Patla jada
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
so there's a bike like that from Honda called C90. छोटा जा इंजन इतना एकदम पतला जा.
Okay.
That guy in that bike, he goes like cross country, like अपना यूके तो शुरू किया, कजाकिस्तान, इंडिया तक भी आया है on that
thing.
tiny little bike. मतलब उन्हें चलना है 40-50 kmph. He's riding like cross country. So I used to see his podcast, same like long format, 1 hour long video. He's just riding and everything. So he was riding in Canada one time and winter time. So he's passing through this really flat long road. कुछ नहीं आसे पासे बिल्कुल, just one road going through these big flats and it's like, you know, snowing pretty heavily. He sets up his camp at the side of the road and it's just like, and it's like pouring पूरी heavy snow, मतलब कि
My God.
काफी dire conditions. So this local guy, he's passing on a truck from there. He sees कि बंदा मतलब
What
की
is he
करिए
doing?
ना. He stops, he asks him, he's like, I'm coming from what do you say, दूर far off location and I'm supposed to go here, so I'm camping here for the night. कहना पागल है इतने राती, there's gonna be like 6 foot of snow, you're gonna be buried and you're gonna die, like you can't survive here. I would recommend you come to my house and you know, spend the night.
Canadians.
तो कहना पाजी like यही चाहिए अपन warm shower and some food. So yeah, he went to his place, had a good, you know, meal and everything. Morning, this guy's like, hey, if you're not in a rush, I'd like to take you out for an activity. He's like, yeah, I'm up for it. Takes him to this like shed in the back, opens the door. It's a big hangar with an airplane parked inside.
Oh,
and
my
not like the normal airplane. They're called bush planes.
Okay.
Do you know what a bush plane is?
Yeah, like for the farm वगैरह दे आसपास रखी.
No, they have these big wheels,
Okay.
like this big a wheel, off-road kind of tires, and it's 2-seater. And window कुछ नहीं की, बारी बुरी कुछ नहीं की,
Okay.
सीधे बाव अंदर, and you switch it on, and you can
अच्छा.
pull it from your hand. Very like rudimentary machine, and you can go and land it on top of a mountain and
Wow.
Oh, very
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Don't need like a proper runway. Just need like a long strip like that. I saw that. I'm like, wow, this is something I'd like to do. And this is back in college.
Okay.
ਜਦੋਂ ਆ ਸਭ ਆਪਣਾ just started working with Wicked, right? So had big ambitions and stuff and love for machine, but no money to like go buy a plane. But I started doing a lot of research, again, a lot of YouTube, ਸਾਰਾ ਛਾਂਤਾ, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ, everything, tried to find things in India. Nothing.
No bush planes.
Nothing at all. And then, but luckily there's a training center in Bangalore.
Okay.
It's called Jakkur Airport.
Okay.
Utthe, there were few people who had like a similar sort of, they called micro lights.
Okay.
So went and spoke to them. उन्होंने तो मैंने पूरा ही demotivate कर दिया. कहता इंडिया च regulation इन्ने आ, पहले तो 50 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਏ ਲਾਓ. ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ DGCA, which is the controlling authority, it's gonna, you know, give you a lot of stress and lot of regulation, paperwork and all that. And like you see it in YouTube, ਬੰਦਾ ਗਿਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਲਾਤਾ ਇਹ ਸਭ, ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ permissions, you won't get the permissions. Even if you do, it will take the fun out of it. So I was very demotivated, like, man, ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, thought maybe go to US and do that. But ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਗੱਲ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਨਾ, you know, like there's a kind of hobby which just stuck to me, you know. I was like, wow, there's a lot of depth, something I got to do. So I was like, what's the step down? The step down was paramotor to that. I found out about bush plane YouTube करके paramotor ਲੱਭ ਗਈ ਕਿਤੋਂ, I'm like, wow, okay, this seems little,
Doable.
accessible.
Right.
Searched about the laws of paramotoring. No laws in India for
No
it.
laws in India.
No, it's
Okay.
like a cycle.
Is it?
Yeah, like you can take my gear and fly.
Anybody can do it.
Now there is like a draft regulation,
Okay.
which is good. I feel like some.
ਮੇਰੇ
थोड़ा
ਵਰਗਾ, ਉਹ ਭਾਜੀ ਲਾਉਣਾ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ?
But honestly, it's just like completely unregulated. So I was like, okay, this is good and this seems affordable. Something around still extremely expensive, but seems good. Then I'm like, okay, even what's a step down? Because I want to do it right now.
Yeah.
ਹੁਣੇ ਵੀ ਅਜੇ currently I can't ask money from my dad कि dad ਇੰਨੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਜ਼ੇ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ. That just doesn't sound good, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I need to like break it down more. So step down to paragliding.
Nice.
And I think that was the very good decision. फिर मैं I met this coach in Kamshet, which is near Pune.
I've done paragliding
Paragliding
there
Kamshet.
once.
Wonderful place.
ਸਿੱਧੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਆ ਗਿਆ
हाँ वो
Apparently
मतलब
something.
for tandem ride it's not so
Yeah,
great. I
yeah,
think beer is much better.
Yeah.
But for learning it's a good thing. So I told him I was कि अजय न्याणे हैं ऐसे है नहीं पैसे पूछसे ज़्यादा कुछ जे if you can do something. He's like, okay, you pay me bare minimum. तो खाना खुना मैं I can let it go. Like you can stay and all that and help me like pack my gear and carry it around. I was like, yeah buddy, this sounds good. So that happened and there's like 3 levels, P1 P2 P3.
Okay.
उदो सिर्फ P1 ही होया 10,000 रुपए ने लए मेरे तो which was like brilliant and then basically मिल गया अपना gear एक बार once you have a feel of it,
Right.
then your whole energy is get. So he did that, he gave me a opportunity to just try it out.
Very cool.
After that my whole life just kind of shaped around कि I am doing hard work because I want to spend on all this gear and I want even the processes like all this automation because I know like I want to spend time off, make sure do things in a way that it will allow me to. So
Right.
then I came to Beer after that and Beer again like I met a beautiful instructor. His name is Gurpreet. He runs this school called PG Gurukul.
Okay.
The best instructor in
Is it
the
in
country.
Beed?
Yeah. Punjab ਦਾ ਹੀ ਬੰਦਾ ਉਹ
ਅੱਛਾ।
ਵੀ. He is from Gurdaspur. Yeah.
Oh.
So again at that time also I was like co-founder ਨਾਲ ਲੜ ਕੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਗਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇਣੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਲਾਈਕ ਬੜੀ ਪਿਆ ਕੰਪਨੀ 'ਚ ਪੈਸਾ ਦੇ ਦੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰ ਲਾਂਗੇ ਨੋ hard stop. मतलब literally cried in front of him, यार दे दे please. Him being like a hardcore business guy, like, buddy, we have to spend money on hiring. Sorry, तेरा ये शौक शूंग गया बाहर में, मेरे को नहीं परवाह. And so I like very demotivated. I went to this guy was training in the field on a radio. ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਸ ਸੁਣੀ ਗਿਆ ਇਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਫ੍ਰੀ 'ਚ ਗਿਆਨ ਤੇ ਲਈਏ ਥੋੜਾ. So he also saw ਕਿ ਅੱਛਾ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬਈ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਏ ਉਹ ਮੈਂ told him ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਰਨੀ ਸੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਪੈਸੇ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਤੇ ਕਦੀ ਹੋਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ. He's like ਮੈਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਮੰਗੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ.
Wow.
I'm like okay that sounds interesting. like ਕੱਲ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਆ ਜੀ ਗਰਾਊਂਡ 3 ਵਜੇ
Right.
ਆਪਣੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਰ ਲਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੋ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਕੋ whenever you feel like you're in the position you pay me.
Wow.
So got a free lesson and that was basically like take off time of life over there.
It was meant to be almost.
meant-
Meant to
Yeah.
be, So I never went like a tandem which is 2 people.
Never.
Never ever. First flight solo off the mountain and
Wow.
Was that because you had done your P1 from Kamshet?
no, I just didn't want to ruin my experience of going. I wanted to conquer that fear ke
But like
How did you do that?
it's like you have baby slopes. We
Yeah.
also have baby slopes.
Yeah.
You do bunny hops, we call them. छोटे करो. Basically, your takeoff and landing is hard. Flying in the air, एक बार glider आ गया तो अनु में control देना. You can also. It's just like driving a car. Left खिंचे left हो गया, right खिंचे right हो गया, and very easy. The takeoff and landing is very important, and that's what you learn on a bunny hill. So you do like bunny hops, 5 to 6.
छोटे like you're like
Bus.
in the air.
And
now.
it's like a very gradual slope. Even if you mess up grounds like right next to you, just get
you
up.
just come down there.
Yeah, some bruises maybe max to max. Nothing.
ਉਹ ਇੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਤਾਂ ਚੱਲਦਾ.
Of course. So yeah, that happened, and then I'm like completely hooked onto it. Ki badi ye tha. But I knew that paramotoring is my thing because
That's where you wanted to get to eventually.
I wanted to fly all the time actually.
Right.
इतना नहीं होना चाहिए था कि
You have to go and
beer jao apna, and I know works in Bangalore. I can't let go. And Bangalore has not so great sites. Very average, 20-minute flight time. Like you were saying, to thalle aa gaya. Ko maza nahi. Appan nu chahiye घंटा 1.5 घंटा minimum. You should be in the air and enjoy. So I knew that this is, although like paraglide, it's the same. Paragliding guys hate paramotor guys. It's like paramotor are the snowboarders of. Everyone thinks you're just too cool and just trying to. Go against the nature or something, but appan वहाँ के like I literally fly my motor like a jeep, sky jeep एकदम like just above the tree line, just going around exploring here and there. इत्थे lake आ गई, lake से थल्ले जाके देखो हाँ भाई की चल रहा है इत्थे.
Can you hover?
No.
You can't hover.
You can go do circles, but you always have like because it's a glider, it has a forward speed about 35. You can slow it down to maybe 30, 20, and there's more headwind. It will be slower, but it always like keeps going forward.
Right.
Yeah. But the accessibility of paramotoring is like super easy. Just need a field with no like trees at the side. One cricket ground or like a football field is good enough. So I have a Alto which I drove from here to Bangalore, and everything fits in the back of the Alto, like my whole gear.
I've heard about this. Even your the whole machine,
everything. Paramotor and glider.
You've done something to it, modified it?
Nothing. I just took the back seat out.
And it just goes in straight.
Yeah, it just goes in. Like disassemble, put it in, and I think I've ridden that like coast to coast, west coast to east coast, sare passe, and Western Ghats, and Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Just like throw everything in the back and keep driving, and तो देखी जो अच्छा field ठीक है, like खाली खेत देख के मैं खुश हो जाना. मेरा दोस्त ना है पागल है तू, मतलब इधर उधर बा खेत ही लभी जाना. And then I tell them रुको जरा तो दिखाने हैं. So just like go around, find of course do your homework first to find the regulated airspace, stay out of that. Town tune to दूर एकदम पूरा, because don't want extra attention and all that, right? I want to keep it super low key. Just go to a random field, open your gear, 15 minutes setup time.
Beautiful. What kind of fuel goes inside?
It's a 2-stroke engine, so mixed fuel, petrol and 2T oil.
2T oil.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Super.
So when did the
super
transition from paragliding to motoring happen?
This is when we got a little serious with the business, started making some money, because it's just like buying a car, man. Like,
is it? How expensive is a motor?
So the motor would be around 5 lakhs, and the glider is another 2.5. I put some accessories, maybe another lakh. So yeah, 8-9 lakh. 10 lakh lage chalo with training and everything. If you want to have a comfortable, could be done cheaper, but not recommended.
Not recommended.
Like your life is on the line.
Of course.
And you want to have fun versus sort out that one small broken thing which you compromise. Kita shuruj mein I like started with a second hand glider. It ruined my experience really bad, and then after that I'm like everything brand new. So this happened when like I always wanted to fly paramotors, but it's super expensive, right? Like 5 lakhs, and I had this thing like for fun I can't ask parents for money, like that's just not legit.
It's amazing how you could like fund your hobbies through work that you
and that really like helped me stay up at night and just like do things with a bigger motivation, because I know, man, like if I have this, life is completely gonna change. And I really wanted some like, okay, whatever it takes to get. Even today, like I think major of my work motivation, I love technology. I really enjoy solving problems with tech, and just even now, because I have a team, I don't get to code a lot, but sometimes with some clients who are like very creative and bring some random solution, I'd be like, I'll do this by hand, like on my own.
Wow.
So that is the first thing. And second is I'd like spending money on gear, on good gear.
Of course. I honestly wanted to ask you about your trip from B to Manali on a paraglider.
Yeah.
Was that planned? It was planned.
It's like I always, so there are these things. I'm sure even in skiing, you always have this like, this is the level I'm at, and this is where I want to be. So you keep like trying to get towards that. So in paragliding, it's like, Manali jana. I don't like just
Go to Manali.
like that. पहलो first day you go like one mountain, like a German drill. एक पहाड़ पे गए वापस आ गए, दूसरे दिन एक और आगे गए वापस आ गए, because every time you see like with your eye you make that good mental map of the geography. So that's how it was initial. There were I think about 150-200 hours of flying which I did in the front ridges, which is Beer to Dharamshala.
Okay.
So Beer to, like we were talking before, this big wall, the Dholadar range, it's like the outer ridges, the 5000 meter the high mountains, and in front of them is like big fields. So it's very what do you say, safe to fly long distance. Beer to ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਿਕਲੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਪਾਲਮਪੁਰ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ, ਪਾਲਮਪੁਰ ਤੋਂ ਧਰਮਸ਼ਾਲਾ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ, ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਮੇਰੀ ਹਾਈਟ ਲੂਜ਼ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ, ਉੱਥੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਲਾਓ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਖੇਤ ਆ, ਖੇਤ ਚ ਲੈਂਡ ਕਰ ਦੋ ਐਂਡ ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਗੋ ਆਊਟ. ਸੋ ਇਟਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਈਜ਼ੀ ਐਂਡ that gives you a lot of understanding of how to like thermal. There's a thing called thermal, but a glider will always keep going down. So you need to find these pockets of rising air, and you must have seen like birds circling.
Right.
So they're basically gaining height, they're thermaling. So that is the skill.
That was a question I was going to ask you.
Right.
What if like you come, like if you lose altitude, what do you do? Then you don't have anything to propel you.
No. So like this is a part of the training where anytime you're flying, you should have a safe glide to a nearest field where you can go. Then only you start venturing out and flying long distance.
So that you can come back to that
field. ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣਾ ਆਸੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਜੰਗਲ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖਿੱਚਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਪੂਰਾ, because at any time you might just like hit sink. There are packets of rising air, there are also packets of
what's that called?
Sink. Yeah, so you just enter this air mass, you like just fall like a rock almost.
My God.
And you just like by inni height si ki mere ko kithe gayi, and then you like quickly get out of that area and towards your landing zone. So the thing with these front ridges is ki ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ landing option ਭਰੀਆਂ ਪਈਆਂ. And with the paramotor experience, my outlanding skills, like looking at a random landing, just going and landing there is very good, because in paramotor you have that ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋ altitude ਹੱਥ 'ਚ ਆ, right? So if you mess up, you just like throttle up, you again go up, you circle 2-3 times and come and land there. So with paramotoring, your landing skills kind of become better. So I did this back and forth Dharamshala multiple times, maybe like 15-20 times, and 200 hours on the front ridges. And then after one point you get bored with that ki yaar hun agge ki hai. That's when you start venturing like back. This is called back because ਉਧਰ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਫਰੰਟ ਕਹੀਦਾ ਧਰਮਸ਼ਾਲਾ ਵਾਲੀ ਸਾਈਡ ਨੂੰ, and we call these back mountains, like you have back country. Yeah, similar sort. Where it's like you don't go there unless you know what you're going, and you gotta have a Garmin sat tracker and radio and skills and
of course
pura and a P tube, because sometimes you want to pee in the air. Yeah, we do pee in the air also. ਉਹ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਦੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ diaper try ਕੀਤੇ ਮੈਂ, adult diapers. Yeah, because I'm flying like 5 hours, 5.5 hours. So you get hungry, so you have full your snack bag in the front.
What do you carry in the snack bag?
Protein bars and chocolates. ਤੇ ਪਰੌਂਠੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੀਰ 'ਚ ਉਹ ਮਿਲਦਾ, ਐਗ ਬੁਰਜੀ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਦ. ਸਵੇਰੇ ਆਂਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ 3 ਪੈਕ ਕਰ ਦੋ, ਉਹ ਲੈ ਜਾਣ ਨਾਲ, ਫਿਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ 3000 ਮੀਟਰ ਤੇ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਖਾਣਾ ਆਰਾਮ ਨਾਲ. ਇਟਸ ਲਾਈਕ ਬਿਊਟੀਫੁਲ. ਵੀ ਹੈਵ ਦਿਸ ਹਾਈਡਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਬੈਗ, ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਪਾ ਲਓ ਕੁਛ ਇਲੈਕਟ੍ਰੋਲਾਈਟ ਐਂਡ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ, and and so this is when you start flying long. This is another, like peeing is massive. Like you need to come land sometime.
You can't just pee.
नहीं, क्योंकि the हवा आ रही ना, it's like peeing on a bike. Like imagine doing that, right?
Not a good idea.
So yeah, initially tried diapers, but it's like adult diapers are like hard, man. Very hard. Like the whole thing just gets very not wet but heavy, and you feel like it's there. It's not comfortable. मजा नहीं आया वो करके. Yeah. So then after that there's something called a P tube. Catheter ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ hospital 'ਚ ਦੇਖੇ. You cut the bag and you just like let the tube out. But peeing from that is a challenge, man. You have to train your body. वो आंदा ही नहीं गा पता initially. Yeah, like bladder just resists कि बड़ी पैंट पूंट पाई है तू. So it's so So all these things you need to kind of like go through
Understand.
first and
Before
figure out
going on a long.
backside.
How
Because
long is the beat to Manali? Like,
not very long. It's more like technical and treacherous, but the flight time's around 2 hours. So because at the Siddha baat hoti, the road goes like from Mandi and like this. You go like straight, Siddhi line khech ke. But it's like very high mountains.
Right,
You're
right.
always flying above 4,000 meters and snow-covered peaks.
snowclad, right?
Yeah, like it's like Leh Ladakh, Spiti side, that kind of
It's
geography.
very cool.
There was a recent video of you. Was that Beer Manali?
Yeah, that
The-
that
the-
was
yeah.
where there's like an avalanche
Yes.
on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like another experience. Like I'm just flying. ਤੇ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਯੂ ਮਸਟ ਹੈਵ ਸੀਨ ਲਾਈਕ ਡਾਇਨਾਮਾਈਟ ਐਕਸਪਲੋਜਨਸ ਇਨ ਦ ਮਾਊਂਟੇਨਸ
right,
ਬੈਕ ਇਨ ਦ ਡੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਰੋਡ ਬਣਦੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਸੀ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਆਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਲਾਈਕ ਸੁਪਰ ਲਾਊਡ ਆਮ ਜਸਟ ਫਲਾਈਂਗ ਐਂਡ ਆਮ ਲਾਈਕ ਓ ਸ਼ਿਟ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਐਂਡ ਆਈ ਲੁੱਕ ਬੈਕ ਐਂਡ ਦਿਸ ਲਾਈਕ ਅ ਬਿਗ avalanche. ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਆਉਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਵਾਪਸ ਮੁੜਿਆ ਉੱਥੇ went back again, came to the side of the mountain, just flying like right next to it. Ultimate.
Wow.
Like craziest experience, and you feel so safe because ਇੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, but it's also so special because there's no other way to even if you have a chopper, you can't come like that close to the terrain. Like ਮਤਲਬ ਇੰਨੀ ਦੂਰ ਹੋਣਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ like the and it's happening like right in front of you. So brilliant. So yeah, like first you go through all this training phase. You build your skills of endurance, understanding thermaling and all that, and then you start venturing out. The main thing about going backwards is there is no civilization. Like if you outland in the back, the walkout is like 2 days from the forest. Like there is just like one trail in the forest, and you need some mountaineering skill, like legit mountaineering skills, and you need to have your sleeping gear, your food and shelter, everything, and all that adds weight to your gear. So you don't prefer like flying with it regularly, and you have to get used to all that extra weight and some mountaineering skills. And back there it's like पालू पुल्लू तो बहुत होते हैं.
अच्छा है?
पूरा like that's legit what you say hardcore adventure. So
But do you go with a team?
Yeah, generally it's advised to initial few flights you go with a person. So I think I did about 5 flights halfway to Manali with these experienced pilots who were already like doing it. The last one I started with the gang, and then they were not motivated to go, and then I could see this one European guy who's on the way back from Manali, and these guys were here, and I'm in touch with like all of them. So I told them, okay, I'm going for it, and I'll keep you posted. So every like 5 minutes I'm giving them a check-in, this is Jashan, I've reached this location, and they also have my Garmin location. So I was like well prepped, but the last halfway I did like full solo.
Wow.
That was like
very cool.
super nice.
I have a question on this because I think, like you said, endurance is a must.
Right.
So do you think? Do you think? I mean, I'm sure you do something for fitness, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's very important to be fit?
Absolutely. Like I think why he was saying like he wants to do paragliding, I think both of you would do really good is because any kind of sports and good hand-eye coordination and good cardio endurance, all these things help a lot because while you're flying, it's not so much of physical work because you're sitting in this comfortable sofa kind of chair, but going to the hill, hike to the hill with this 20 kg backpack, it just, and then the takeoff after that, so you're winded up, and I see the best of the pilots struggle on takeoff because while that climb to the takeoff is really treacherous. Yeah. And then we also do these hike and fly things. Go to a random mountain, hike all the way up, there's no road, hike all the way up and fly from there. Also, when you're going out, there might be a landing which is preferable, but it's a long walk from somewhere, right? So most of the pilots would avoid that कि यार अपन road दे लाके land करते हैं, which puts you in difficult situations sometimes. So endurance always helps in this, and that's why I've been like into, and also from like childhood, grown up on a farm, right? Bajje firna, and then basketball happened.
Right.
So all this kind of ingrained, and my sister, she's like super big in fitness.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a pro bikini model, and
nice.
she's been at it from like long time. So she's set like high standards.
I'm
for-
sure.
super high standards for me, and she's like on this very consistently. And I've tried like building muscle a lot, but I'm more in tune towards more endurance, cardio,
Of
and
course.
balancing, like slacklining. sort
I
of
think
thing.
too much weight, even if it's muscle weight, on a
Yeah.
paraglider does not make
Does
sense.
not
right?
help. Yeah.
It's just going to be
Being light on your
dead weight.
feet is
Yeah. It's much
very,
more, yeah.
very good.
Agreed,
yeah.
agreed.
And have a lot of endurance, basically.
I mean, a bodybuilder won't do very well on paragliding.
Yeah. He can carry a very heavy kit, which will keep him comfortable. But
Right.
I can go and land at a place because I'm lighter on my feet.
Yeah.
Low wind situation, your landing is a bit hard. So if you're too heavy on your feet, it starts giving you ankle problems when you keep doing it like on a longer run.
Right.
And my glider has a weight range. So now the season's gonna start in October. So I have this like 1 month prior. I'll start doing like get off liquor and start doing more endurance. So because like flying is a lot about being in the headspace and with the endurance. So like it's like a pilgrimage for us basically.
I'm sure.
Every October and March, 1 month prior, we start like checking our gear and getting in the shape, because the clearer you are in your head and your body is feeling good, you can fly longer and feel happier. Otherwise it becomes very intimidating. You
Right.
don't enjoy it much.
Right.
It
Absolutely.
becomes like
hard.
becomes like a task.
Right. It's very similar to us when we go skiing.
Right.
We have to obviously have the endurance,
Right.
and also have like the legs have to be strong, but not
Correct.
heavy. Like you can't be heavy on your legs.
Bulky. Yeah.
So
same.
I think I can sort of relate to it because it's
Right.
very similar. We start preparing for it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already started. We are
Yeah.
we are
The-
always
the
on
thought
it.
is always
the thought
always
is
there.
always there.
Yeah.
So
like-
बस आ गया
Yeah,
बस.
बस आ गया. It's
गया.
almost there. It's almost
Exactly.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So October and March, you said. Are
October,
two
yeah, and
2
March are
months
the
of-
spring and autumn are like when the weather's transitioning. That's when the thermals are very stable and very smooth to fly in. So
Also, I think better weather than March, or March is cold, right?
both are kind of, here it's getting cold towards the colder side, that it's like coming out of colder side.
out of cold.
And the topography looks completely different.
Is it?
Yeah, both the times, the color of the mountain, then the amount of snow. So both seasons are good, but April, the summer season, March, April, it's stronger because the sun has more power. Sorry,
Right.
sun the game, like sun comes, heat. You must have heard how clouds are formed, right?
Right.
Sun comes, heat the earth,
Warm air rises.
and then warm air rises. So the sun energy and how your pressure, atmospheric pressure, and couple of other prevailing wind, ये सारी चीजें ना, it determines how much height you get and how suitable that is for flying. So March is generally like a stronger, rougher season where it'll throw you really high in the sky, but it'll be like, oh, ki ho raha hai. October is more like lower altitude, but much calmer, much smoother.
Good time to learn.
October is better time to learn. Yeah, but you will do fine in March also, because I think you have an appetite for,
We like adventure.
Yeah,
But I really want to try this out. Now I'm like, I always wanted to. Now I'm very sure that I want to
for
do
sure.
this.
Yeah, because I think you have kind of like complementing other hobbies, fitness and CrossFit and skiing. So I think the right recipe. It
should be fun.
Yeah.
It should be fun, right?
It'll be very
Already matched.
natural, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing with paragliding, like I have a lot of hobbies I picked up and dropped. This is one thing which has so much technicality. It like always keeps, even from like the learning perspective, like geography and weather. I learned so much about weather only because of this, and in general also like life skill. I'm very messy in the house, never like keep things organized. And my mom saw me pack my glider one day. इतना ना तैल आंडा आराम ना मम्मी खड़े होके देखने कहते बेडशीट आज तक तो इतना कदी मैं तैਨੂੰ देखਿਆ नहीं ਇਹਨੂੰ बड़े प्यार ਨਾਲ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਵਾ मैं कहा ਤੇ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ. And it's really rewarding also. You spend X amount of hours learning a skill, and then you go out and utilize all that information, the kind of places it takes you to.
I'm just imagining. I'm like, यार मतलब ਅਸੀਂ पहाड़ इधर ही देखे हैं हमेशा.
Yeah.
To look at them
Like
From
at
the
this
top.
perspective
Yeah.
must have been like
there are places where especially on the way back, back flying there are hikes where it'll take you 2-3 days to get there, and we take off and 20-30 minutes we can fly, go land on the top of that hill. ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਕਾਫੀ ਬਣਾਓ, ਦੋਸਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਤੇ ਬੁਲਾਓ, ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਆ ਜਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਆਵਾਜ਼, ਉਹਨੇ ਵੀ ਆ ਜਾਣਾ, ਉਹਨੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਮੈਗੀ ਬਣਾਉਣੀ ਨਾਲ, and then you spend some time there and then take off from there, come back. Finish the whole episode in like 3 hours, where it take you like 3 days to get there.
just to get there.
So it's extremely liberating. Very rewarding.
ਚੱਲੀਏ ਜੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਰੈਡੀ ਹੈ ਕੇਸ਼ਵ. ਅੱਛਾ ਜੀ, ਉਹ ਮੇਰੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੁੱਕਣੀਆਂ, ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਮੈਂ ਹੋਰ ਪੁੱਛਾਂ. I'm going to get to the books now. What are some books you would like to recommend to our audience?
Yeah, so honestly not a very big reader. Like I do some reading for helping with business and you know, self-help kind of thing. So Tim Ferriss, like the
go-to
book.
Of course.
Yes.
Whenever I go back to like some chapters, like some of the people he's interviewed, just like some key pointers from there. Go and like, you know, when you're in that phase of life, just go there and like pick that particular chapter and go through it. So that's
what was something recent you read from that book?
From that book, there's a piece by Arnold. I was reading that.
Oh, I was thinking about Arnold.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I was like, after reading that, I haven't till date heard Tim Ferriss and Arnold the episode, but after reading it, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And then we watched the documentary, Netflix the Arnold. There's a 3-part documentary where
Nice.
First part is about his bodybuilding, how he reached aced it.
Right.
Then his movie career, aced it, and then politics. Like 3 phases of Arnold and how he kind
I
of.
gotta check that out.
Yeah, you should. Achha.
So that was one, and then major of the learning is from YouTube actually. You know, like even in paragliding, when I spoke to my instructor, he told me to like, you know, calm yourself down because you know too much right now for a beginner. He's like, "Idda menu mushkil ho jana tenu sikhana. You need to unlearn all this because appa jinna content online like already know all that." And
right.
in his perspective, it was kind of counterintuitive, but I see how that helped me, you know, like stick to the hobby. I would say 95% of people who learn paragliding end up not pursuing it because it's too intimidating.
Right.
There's
Right.
too many challenges, and like gaining knowledge by looking at videos has just helped me a lot, you know, like make things.
Very
so yeah, a lot of YouTube. Also watch a lot of technical channels. There's a channel called Smarter Every Day.
Okay.
Yeah, super technical and very fun. I think you guys should check it
Fun
out.
for you is like super technical. But
Yeah. And the way he puts it, it's like also good for a non-technical person.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, Potassium, Smarter Every Day. Then in paragliding, there's a guy called Tucker Gott.
Okay.
US guy. You should check him out. Like,
Yeah?
उन्हें देख के बहुत ज़्यादा it like, you know, in my initial days,
Huh.
looking at his style of flying really helped me kind
Wow.
of make a perspective.
Wow.
So yeah, that
Tucker what?
Tucker Gott.
Got.
Yeah.
Tucker got.
Yeah, it's like very famous on YouTube.
On
Just say
YouTube?
Paramotor on YouTube. ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ
ਵਧੀਆ ਹੀ
ਦੇਖੀਆਂ
ਹੈ।
good high production quality, it's him. And the way he like, you know, approaches the sport, it's very different, you know. बहुत exploratory kind of
अच्छा.
vibe. Yeah. So my whole flying career is kind of like that also. Like I like going to places where like Beer, of course, you know, that's the place where you go to hone your
It's the mecca of paragliding.
exactly pilgrimage sada, but like take all the information from there and then go out in the country
Anywhere. Like, that's the
anywhere,
best
man.
part. Like.
And Punjab for that matter is such a beautiful place to fly, man. Like the fields, they change colors every new crop and new season, when it's you know, when they plow the whole field, it looks different.
Wow.
When it's like just germinating,
Right.
it's little greenish, then it becomes yellowish,
So no,
and every week on week you go and you like look at your pictures. It's beautiful, and those wide open fields, so you can fly very close to the ground.
Nice.
So idda appa khet ch ek pair idda thalle pa
Wow.
and it's just like going like 5 kilometers in a straight line, just flying.
No trees around, obviously. Like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Power lines is one thing.
And can a person who hasn't done paragliding do this
like after training.
after training? Can you train me?
I can take you along. I wouldn't advise. Okay, I'm not at that level. I like you go to my guru. He'll
Nice,
he'll
nice,
train you
nice.
good.
Done.
So I think training super essential. You should never skim on that because that is what will make or break your
The long term.
things.
Also make you have fun. I think you'll only
Oh,
be
for
able to
sure.
Yeah, I
have fun
mean, if you
after
know how to
training.
do it, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
skiing, right? You can't be
Or
like, I have
any-
skis and
yeah.
I'm going to ski.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
agreed, agreed. Nice. So, last question for you today, Jashan. Unfortunately, because I really have more things to ask you.
Yeah.
But what does the balanced path mean to you?
Very philosophical, man. Like, I think for me personally, it would be like getting a perfect harmony between the things I want to do and the things that I should do. So the balance between them would be the balanced path. Yeah.
The want and the shoulds and the middle path in between.
Correct.
It's very
correct.
cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Nicely put.
Very nicely put.
Wow, this has been
Very
it's been it's like I've just come down from a paragliding ride. It's
Yeah.
like, oh wow, the mountains are
I
beautiful.
feel the same, man. Like,
And
Yeah.
this was a journey, and I hope we do an episode again, like
for sure.
Jashan episode 2. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming in. And guys, if you're liking this, if you've made it till so far,
Yeah.
and you're still listening to this, like, share, and subscribe right now. Tell your friends, please.
Sure.
And thank you once
Thank
again.
you, thank you.
Jashan.
Yeah, it was so nice, man.
It was
Finally.
really good. Yeah,
And it's so
thank
glad that this is where we're meeting the first time.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's
it's
brilliant.
like now I know
Yeah.
you so much more, and those years that I did not know you, now I've kind of covered them.
Yeah.
Like-
And we've only been talking about me. I need another opportunity
Of
where
course.
I go through the same process
Of
with
course.
you guys because you guys have been like on to some
Been here and there.
good
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Doing
I
different-
love the designs of everything you do.
Thank you.
Baked and just like
Oh, the best coffee in town.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, do subscribe to these guys for sure because
Thank you.
yeah, I love the content you make, man.
Thank you so much,
Thank
man.
you.
Not expected out of a small town like
Thank
this.
you,
But
thank you.
like you said, it's a cool town, man.
It's a cool town,
a cool
man.
town.
It is a cool town.
Yeah.
And we'll put all the links of like the YouTube channels you
Right.
said, and
Yeah.
also if we can get some contact hold of Guruji of paragliding,
I'll send out.
then we can
yeah.
just like put it. Somebody
they've-
if they want to like.
they've put out a course calendar
Oh, they have.
yeah,
Great.
for
So-
October.
So if we can get the link to that,
yeah,
we'll
that's
plug
the
it in.
best place.
Nice.
Yeah. And anyone if they want to reach out for how I do this and
Yes.
I'm sure there's a
Instagram.
lot of questions. Like when I was going through this phase, I really thought like wish there's someone I can talk to one on one and figure out the first question is paise kitne lag rahe hain?"
Of course,
Ye
of
dasso.
course.
Right.
Because
Right.
you want to have that goal in your mind that is this even accessible.
yeah.
Like I ruled out microlight because I don't want to spend 50 lakhs and then get through regulation.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think
Makes
those
sense.
kinds- yeah.
I think, So Instagram, we're again going to plug his profile in the description. If you have questions, he'll be more than happy to help, more than happy to answer your questions. And again, thank you once again. And thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
guys. This
thank
is
you.
me and Veera signing off. Have a great day, guys.